All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Zach. I'm with Atlas Agency Launch Lab and Online Solutions. And want to do a quick live video. Normally do it on Tuesdays and Fridays, or possibly Saturday morning, depending on where you are. I'll just real quick sit down with somebody else, whether they are brand new or a veteran in the space of excuse me, digital marketing. And just go over some questions, just to see where they are, what their plans are, what they want to do, and hopefully anybody that's watching this can get some sort of gold nuggets from it, and maybe give you the edge to want to keep going, or just help out. So, without further ado, I'm with Anthony Sarkis. And he's out of Sydney, Australia. Is that correct?
I am, yes, Sydney, Australia. It's 10 o'clock in the morning here. It's going to be a nice, beautiful, sunny day.
Wonderful. What's the name of your business?
So it's Peak Integrity.
Okay.
I chose Peak Integrity because, I've been selling for the last 30 odd years for a whole bunch of different companies. And my wife's run a business for a number of years. And I've noticed that a lot of integrity is missing in the market. Okay. People say they're going to do stuff, they don't always do it, or they promise the world and don't deliver. So I wanted to have a name like Peak Integrity. We're the top of it, right? What we say we're going to do, we're going to do. And that's really how the name came about.
Awesome. What got you involved in this space?
Yeah, a lot of things. Like I said, my wife has been running a dance studio for 21 odd years, and I've sort of been helping her in the background. And she came to me late last year and said, "Listen, I'm ready to sell the studio."
Okay,
like, great, good on you. It's fantastic. But what are you selling? Oh, my studio. But you're not actually selling anything. All you've got is your name and the students, and nothing's going to guarantee the students are going to stay with you, and you don't have any systems in place.
Sure.
So we sat down and had a bit of a chat, and I've developed all these different systems for her, how to get new customers. We've set up a proper CRM, we've set up automation, we've set up all the really good stuff that businesses need. And because of that, her business has gone through the roof, and now she doesn't want to sell it, which is another problem. But she actually has a system to sell. It's not just, hey, I've got a dance studio with kids in it. It's, this is how I get new students. This is how I manage the process. This is how I do everything. So someone can just walk in with a blueprint on running a successful studio.
Awesome. So you went from sales. How'd you learn all about, these systems and what to do?
You know what? Everyone thinks that salespeople just go around, take people to lunch and talk crap all the time, right? There's actually a bit of a science behind sales, and there's a process that we follow. Okay. And throughout the years, I've just been developing the processes that I follow. When I go out and meet a customer, my first thing is, what are your problems? What are your issues? What are your needs? What keeps you up at night? And that's followed up with, okay, I can or can't help you. But anyway, I go through a whole process on how to get that happening. And I thought, well, the sales process matters to every industry, not just the industries that I'm in every single industry. So what got me excited about digital marketing and processing is that if you have a process you can follow, you've got a system, you've got a business. And that's really where I came from. It's just, let's have a process to follow. That's not always exact. And sometimes you vary from the process. And the process is a scary word for a lot of people because they think, oh my God, it's a rigid system. But it's not rigid. It's just a guideline that you follow.
Sure. Yeah. Awesome. So tell us about moving from the the sales world, working under another company, and then transitioning.
I still am.
You are awesome.
I'm still working full time, but I'm sort of doing this at the moment just to help out a whole bunch of friends and people that I know that have their own businesses that are sort of struggling. So for me, it's taking all the stuff that I've learned over the last 30 years from amazing trainers in the industry and bringing that down to a level that works for most businesses. So the first thing that I do when I talk to a new business or a friend or whatever is, what's your process? What's your sales process? A lot of people have a sales process, but it's in their head. It's not documented. So the problem is when you hire a new person, you got to explain your process to them, and they might have their own, and there's no standard. So the first thing I do, and the reason I do it, is to write down their process. What is your sales process? How do you go from getting a lead to closing a customer? And what's everything in between? and then I just create a bit of a map that they can follow. And like I said, it doesn't have to be exact, but it gives you guidelines on where to go to the next step. And from that map, we develop their pipeline stages. So what are your pipelines? What are you doing? How do we move someone from one set of the pipeline to the other? So by coming into the market like that, I found that I can help with digital marketing. So then there's no point in me being able to get someone 100 Facebook leads if they can only handle 2 because they don't have a process. Right. So we got to map out the process first, make sure they're structured and working well. Then we can start the digital marketing side of it. And I think that's what makes me a little bit different to a lot of the other digital marketers.
Yeah, I mean, definitely your background has given you a massive advantage. Is this space something that you'd want to make your full-time job?
Yeah, it will. It will eventually. At the moment, I'm just really enjoying the processes and doing it for people. Unfortunately, I'm not charging yet, but that's just me doing it for a bit of fun. But there will be a time where I'm ready to do this full-time and just go hard at it. But at the moment, I'm doing it for a lot of fun, and I'm getting a lot of great results for a lot of people. So it's really inspiring to see.
Wonderful. What was one thing about the space that you didn't expect?
We got a term that we use in the IT industry. We call them cowboys. People that come into the industry and they want to make as much money as they can and get out. They don't care about the repercussions.
Sure.
And unfortunately, I'm seeing a lot of that in this industry. It's such a low barrier to entry that you got a slick website, you got a slick sales pitch, people will believe you. But not a lot of these people are delivering. So I wasn't expecting that much in the industry. I knew there'd be a bit, but I'm seeing it all over the place. People just pop up and, I'm a digital marketer. I've got no years of experience and I'm fantastic. You should trust me and I'm great. Give me as much money as you can. I didn't expect a lot of that. And there is a hell of a lot of it in the industry. When I was sort of looking into it for my wife, I'd rang 2 or 3 different digital marketers and I felt no connection to them for one. And I felt I couldn't believe anything they were saying to me because they just didn't have those years of experience that other people have. And they didn't have a network around them, which struck me as a big thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's definitely the Cowboys. It puts us in a really interesting predicament where it's harder to win somebody's trust. So, as opposed to 10 years ago when you can run anything on Facebook ads and get just a flood of leads. Yeah. But with this weird sort of competition, it makes it so that the ones that really stand out are the ones that are actually good at this and actually are the ones that should be doing it.
Yeah, I think what I noticed as well is that when someone actually cares about your business, by the type of questions they ask you, by the effort they're putting into what you're doing. And I found that a lot of people just wanted to get a sale. Where if you actually care about someone's business, you're going to build a long-term relationship. You know what? I'm going to make $1 million out of you as a customer, but it's going to take me 10 years to do it. I'm not going to make it in the first 2 or 3 weeks. I want that 10, 20-year relationship, right? I want you to trust me. And I think that's what I found was missing in the industry or the market that I've seen.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you go back to your 18-year-old self for one piece of advice, what would it be?
Invest more money in real estate.
Okay.
No, I think, when I was 18, all I ever wanted to do was get into IT. And I started my career as an engineer, thinking I'm really smart and intelligent. I can be an engineer. And I realized that really wasn't for me. And I enjoyed the sales side of it and actually helping people out and giving them advice. I think what I lacked back then that I've got now is the process of it. Back then I was all about selling how fast everything was. I've got the fastest widget, and my widget's better than your widget, and it's shiny and brand new and fantastic. Buy the widget. But it took me a long time to learn that I wasn't selling a widget. I was actually fixing a problem.
Right.
So I think back then, if I'd learned more about actually fixing a problem, I think my career would have. I've got a pretty happy career, but I think it would be a lot better if back then I knew that.
Sure.
So what I tell myself is actually just listen to problems and fix people's problems. That's all you've got to do, and you'll be successful.
Right. You say it a lot as far as like cold DMs, where it's like, I can run all these emails for you and I can get you all these leads, and it's like, that's cool. Like, what's your conversion rate?
Yeah, exactly. How are you
How
gonna
does it fix my
handle it?
problem? Right.
Yeah. How are you going to handle it? There's no point me giving you all this, and you're upset at me because you've got too much business, and now you look like an idiot. Well, let's start at the very beginning, and let's fix that first problem to fix the other ones long term.
Right. I don't care about anything you say. How do you put more money in my pocket?
Yeah, and we're going to do that. We're going to put more money in your pocket, but we got to fix the fundamentals first, right? There's no point, not having a fundamental structure because your foundations will fall down, and we need to get that right. And I think that's been the hardest bit for me talking to my friends who run businesses. It said exactly what you did. Run a Facebook ad for me, give me 100 leads. Well, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, why not? That's what I want. That's what I need. Yeah, you need that eventually. But first thing is, can you handle it? And what happens when you expand and you hire a new sales rep? How are you going to train them? If you don't have a written down process and a written down methodology, how are you going to expand? And that's been the hardest bit for me helping people is teaching them that bit. Once they get that bit and they get past that hurdle, and that's boring. It really is boring. There's nothing sexy about it. And people hate sitting down and writing processes and documents, but it's important. And what I've noticed, if we get that right, the rest just works really well.
Yeah, you got to repeat the boring work.
Yeah, you do. And you only have to do it once. You do it once, and then we can build a foundation from there.
Sure. Right. Yeah, I run into my share of business owners that know how to do what they do well because they came from working for somebody else, but they have no idea what to do in they have no idea how to be a business owner.
Well, you know what? A lot of business owners start the business because they're passionate about something. So, again, I'm in the IT industry, and I was helping out a friend the other day, well, a couple of years ago now. He is one of the most amazing architects and engineers I've ever met. He can do anything with IT. He's brilliant. He sucks at managing salespeople. And, he couldn't keep a salesperson for long, and he's wondering why. Why can't I do it? Why can't I do it? We sat down and we explained to him, you're a brilliant engineer, but you need to hire someone to manage your salespeople because that's not what you do. Right. Just like you hire an accountant because you're not an accountant. You need to hire someone to manage your salespeople. So a lot of business owners know what they know, but don't know what they don't know. And some of them are afraid of taking that step, or they're afraid of, how can I trust you to run my business? This is my business. This is my baby. So we've got to get past that factor too in a lot of small businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people in this space that are starting new think that they have to do everything about it. They have to do the selling and the reach outs and the button pushing and stuff. What part? Excuse me. Which process are you actually going to be doing yourself, and then what are you going to pass on?
That's a great point, right? So when I started doing this, I was, and I still to an extent doing everything myself, right? Okay. And the reason I'm doing it is I want to learn it. I want to understand it myself. So then when I do outsource it, I can say, hang on, guys, this is how I want it done, and this is why I want it done. I think you have to surround yourself with a team of people that you trust and can do the work. Now, there's lots of different white label agencies out there. I won't name them now because it'll be a free ad for them. But there's a couple that I'm working with now that my job is to get the customer in. Once I get the customer in, I can outsource it to them. So they can do my Facebook lead ads. They can do my SEO. They can do my copywriting. But I also have to have a fundamental knowledge of it. So I think for any agency owner, the first 2 or 3 customers, do yourself. And it's going to be hard work, but do yourself so you actually understand it. And then you'll be able to work out what you hate. A lot of people hate sales, so outsource your sales. A lot of people like me, I cannot design anything to save my life. I'm the most terrible website designer. So I won't even pretend to know what I'm doing there. I'll outsource that straight away. So work out what you're good at, work out what you're bad at, and get rid of the stuff that you're bad at. Because if you're bad at it, you don't want to do it. You're not going to do it, and you're going to let people down. So concentrate on the stuff that you're actually really good at, and let the other stuff go. You have to trust other people to do this, or you're never going to scale. You're always going to be that one-man band that does everything, and you will drop the ball. So yeah, get people around you that you can trust.
You made a couple of really good points. The excuse me, the first one of being able to actually know what it is you're doing. You've had hands-on experience before you just say, "Hey, go take care of this for me." We were on we were doing an intake. I'm sorry, not intake. We were sales call with um, with a possible client, and they said, I just want to white label everything. This is for the launch lab.
Yeah.
And instead of coming in, and we had to explain to him that it was like, well, you don't even know what you need to white label.
Yeah.
You're just going to have somebody go off and do it, and then just hope it works, right? And then, I forgot. I should be writing this down. Your second point of, oh no, what was it? Making sure that you don't do everything, right?
Yeah.
If doing everything is what you enjoy doing, then I guess you should do it. But if you want to not just make another job for yourself, but it's better to it's better to have a piece of this pie than have this entire pie. So that's
100%. So if you like exactly what you said, if you do everything yourself, all you've done is traded another job for a job, right? You can never scale. You're always working in your business, not on your business.
right.
So the idea of an entrepreneur is someone that can scale what they do and replicate it. That's the goal, right? We don't want to have to work until we're 70 or 80 years old. I'd love to retire next year if I could. But the whole idea is to create that environment where you can replicate what you do. You have systems in place, and you can start trusting other people to do it. You might not make you'll make more money because you're not doing everything yourself, and you're not limited to the 24 hours a day that you have. You've now got 5 or 6 people working for you who are limited to their 24 hours. So your business can scale, and you're not stuck. And then the people you get are actually doing the stuff that they enjoy doing.
Right.
So they want to do it, where you're forcing yourself to do it. So I think that's my biggest bit is just do the stuff that you love and outsource the rest. But you have to understand it.
Yeah, of course. And excuse me, as you probably know, being able to do everything yourself, you have the quality control over it.
Yeah, you do.
No time to do anything else. But then on the flip side, if you bring your time back, now you have to manage these people. And people
you do, but the idea is you can't delegate and just forget.
Yep.
That's not the idea of delegation, right? You've got to delegate and manage. But if you have a process, if you have an idea of what you want, and you communicate that idea effectively to the people working for you, the management side is a lot easier. I had a couple of landing pages made for me, and again, I don't know anything about design, but I specifically told them how I wanted it laid out. Like I want a header, I want call to action here, I want a type of image over here. So I was very, very descriptive on how I wanted it, and they designed it. And all we had to do was change a couple of images, right? That's compared to the first time I did it, saying, "Can I have a landing page?" Well, what do you want on it? Stuff. It doesn't help, right? So that's what I mean. You have to understand what you want. And in today's day and age, you can learn anything off YouTube. You can learn the fundamentals without having to understand how to design it. That's other people's jobs, right? But you know what you need. You need a call of action. You need a nice heading that captures their attention. You need a nice flow. You need social proof. You need all this stuff. You don't know how to do it, but you know you need it. So by understanding that, you can write a really good brief to give to your people to make it happen. And then you just manage that process.
Yeah. And that's got its own headaches as well. It's just, they're both hard, but pick your heart.
Yeah, managing people sucks, right? But if you get the right people around you and if you have the right process, it makes it a bit easier.
Of course. What's the biggest challenge that you're facing right now?
Time. Like I said, I still work full time. I really love what I'm doing here, but it's not going to be. It'll take a long time for that to replace my current income.
Sure.
So it's time, and it's also the. It's not a leap of faith because I know it will work. It's just timing. When do I do this? When do I not? And for me, I'm burning the candle at both ends, but I actually enjoy that, so I'm okay with it. But there's only a certain amount of time that's going to happen.
Right.
You can only go for a certain amount of time before I'm like, I'm done. So I want to make a decision before I get to that point. So the biggest challenge is just do the leap, make it happen, go for it, but wait. That's my thing right now. And I know there's never going to be a good time or the right time, But it just has to happen for me, and I'll make that happen soon, I think.
Yeah, just one day at a time, right?
Yeah, that's it.
There's there are certain types of people um, that can rush, you know, excuse me, that can actually rush through the material, maintain it, and then put it into action. I'm not one of them.
Yeah, me either.
But for the most part, if you're not one of them, and this to anybody that's watching, don't feel discouraged that you're not moving ahead as fast as, let's say, the next guy, or even as fast as you want, because it's really, just one day at a time.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do is compare yourself to somebody else, like another student, because everyone learns things differently. I can only learn things in 15-minute chunks. Anything more than 15 minutes, I'm off. I'm just like, I'm done. Every good sales rep I know has got ADD. I'm one of them. So, every 15 minutes, I'm like, I need something else to do. Where's the Sheena-Leigh? So I have to manage my time where I learn things in 15-minute chunks. Then I get up, I go for a walk. I even go play video games sometimes, just to get out of that mindset. Now I come back half an hour later and okay, I got another good 15, 20 minutes in me. But other people can just sit the whole day and study and learn and absorb it.
Yeah.
They're on a different path to you. So you never compare yourself time-wise to how other people are doing. I think that's wrong. It's something I learned a while ago when I realized that I do have the Sheena-Leigh syndrome. I do have ADD, and 15 minutes, that's all you got me for. After that, I'm done. Yeah. So we're at 22 minutes now, so this is a big call for me.
One of another person that I was talking to before mentioned that she likes to use a specific method. I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's basically you go and set a timer for 25 minutes.
Yeah,
and you work, knowing that there is a time limit and it's coming up, and then you're off for 5 minutes, so you don't just get stuck in this. Yes. Oh, I'll look at my phone, or I'll check this message or whatever. So, if you're going to go to struggles like that, that's definitely a huge. Any idea what that's called? Do you set a timer, or is it just?
I don't. I just know in myself when I'm starting to fade. I'm like, I'm done. Like, let's just get off the way. Before I push through it, and I put out some really bad work. And then I realized, and I wasn't enjoying it. So now every 15, 20 minutes, I'll get up, I'll do something else, I'll come back. And the enjoyment's still there, which I found that was really, really good. And I found that in that 15, 20 minute span, I can do so much work. I do a lot in that 20 minutes. And I'm like, wow, I'm productive. It feels good to be able to do it. Where before it would take me so long just to do one thing because I procrastinate, I check emails or do whatever. But now that I'm 15, 20 minute chunks and I realize that you're starting to fade, and I get up and go. And that's really, really worked for me.
Gotcha.
But I like the timer idea. I might try that.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably some bad advice if you're just a perpetual, what's the, you like to push stuff off.
You procrastinate things. Yeah.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
You're like, oh well, I'm not feeling the best right now, so I think I'll go. You got to be able to balance out.
Something I've learned recently about that, because that was something I do a lot. I've only got half an hour. I don't have time to do that. Like, actually, you do. So I go. You just get into a flow. Like, you start writing crap. Like, I'll start typing. I'm writing this stupid thing because I have to do it. And all of a sudden, the flow comes in and I get to what I'm trying to do. The other thing that's really helped me is ChatGPT, because a lot of the times I struggle for that initial. I know what I want to do, but I struggle for that initial idea. So I'll go to ChatGPT and say, okay, give me 5 topics on, like, 5 headings on this topic, and it comes up like, great, that's what I want to write about. And I take those topics, and that's what I do. That's helped me a lot. It helped me to stop procrastinating and stop saying, "Oh, I don't have time for that," because you actually do.
How have you seen AI sort of I'm at a loss of words today. Transform sort of the business space. You've been in here.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's fantastic. So, like I said, I've got all these great ideas sometimes, but I don't know how to get them out. So I use ChatGPT for that a lot. Like the other day, I wanted to write something for my job about why I'm working for the company I'm working for, and I knew all the reasons why I wanted to do it, but I just didn't know how to lay it out properly. So I went to ChatGPT. Said, okay, write an article, 500 words, based on these things and my history and blah blah blah. And I put all that information in, and it came out with a half decent article that I had to edit. But it was still my words. Like I didn't use all of their words. I used my words, but they put the structure in place. They put the flow in place. I think that's worked a lot. And I think I think we have to be careful though, because all AI is just regurgitating other people's information.
Sure.
So if we all move down to the AI path, we're not going to have any original content. I think that's going to be a big problem, and people will notice that. And search engines like Google know that too, right? Which is why they're giving less weight to AI written articles inside a blog post and that sort of thing. But AI is here to stay. I think it's only going to get better.
Yep.
But it's only as good as the user. Now,
Sure.
it's very different putting in a prompt saying, write an article about, digital marketing compared to writing a prompt that says, act like a digital marketer and an entrepreneur. Your niche is martial arts schools in this region. Write me an article about digital marketing based on that. It's very different. So you've got to learn how to use it, right?
Right.
And that's a big thing. AI is going to take my job. It's not going to take your job. It's going to change your job, and you have to change with it. So I think it's a big thing, and I think it's scary for a lot of people, but it's here to stay. And if it's used properly, it's going to help a lot of people out.
Well, it's just another tool, right?
It's just another tool.
Yep.
It's all it is. But you have to also learn how to use the tool. There's no point having a CRM if you put crap into it.
Sure.
Because you're going to get crap out. Same with AI. If you put crap stuff in, you're going to get a crap response. And the people that are doing really well with AI understand that and have really good, well-written prompts that they use.
In your opinion, what's the most important trait or strength that someone would need to work as an agency head?
There's two or three, I think. Tenacity is number one, right? In any entrepreneurial job, this will be my third business that I've started. You have to be tenacious. No is not always the right answer. You've got to get past the original no from people. Why are you saying no? What is it? And a lot of the times, if you talk to people, understand what they're going through. The no is not a no. It's just I don't know. So you've got to be tenacious. You've got to understand what you're trying to get, right? And that's not just with clients, but with people that you're managing. What drives them? What motivates them? What makes them happy? A lot of people think, I just work for money. It's not true. A lot of people don't just work for money. They work for happiness. They work for accomplishments. They work for achievements. What motivates someone to do what they do? And once you understand that, you can manage them in that point, right?
Sure.
So I think tenacity and understanding that is a big thing, but also understanding who you are and what you're doing. You cannot be everything to everyone. That doesn't work. You can't go to a business and say, I'll do your Facebook ads, your Google ads, your copywriting, your SEO. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. And I'm an expert on every single one of them, because you're not. No one is, right? So I think you have to understand your limitations and understand what you're selling. And that comes down to having an avatar and understanding who your best customer is going to be and what they need and what they want. And like I said earlier, don't be afraid to outsource what you don't know, and be honest with the customer. A lot of times I'll say to people, like the friends that I'm talking to, is like, mate, I know stuff all about copywriting, but I've got a person that does. They're based in the US. Who cares? I'll manage the process for you. I'll get them to give you a quote, or you quote through me, or whatever. We'll make it happen, right? So you got to be tenacious. You got to understand how to deal with certain personalities and certain people, staff and customers. And you can't be afraid to tell a customer you don't know, and use a network of people around you, because that actually adds weight to you. You can say, hey, I don't know this, but I know a group of people that do. I've got a network. I've got a global connection. I've got this. I've got that. It helps to identify with the customer and let them know that you're normal and you're not going to do everything. So I think those three things really help with being an agency head. But the biggest thing is just don't give up. Like, you're going to have amazing days where everything goes right. Then you're going to have days where, oh my God, why am I doing this? But think of the reasons why you're doing it. On my wall, I've got photos of my children and my wife, and I've got a holiday that we're going to do in a couple of years' time. And that's what I'm working towards. That's why I'm doing it. And when I'm having a bad day, I look up to the wall, I see the photo. You know what? That's why I'm doing it. Get over this. Let's keep going. So tenacity is a big thing.
Yeah. What it's you only fail if you stop moving forward.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's exactly what it is, right? Yeah. You're only going to fail if you don't do it. Something I tell my kids a lot is that I want you to fail. They're like, what? I want you to screw up. I want you to fail because that's how you're going to learn.
Of course.
What I don't want you to do is fail the same way twice because that's just stupid. Fail quickly, learn from it, get better at it, and move on. So don't be afraid of failure. That's a big thing. Everyone's, I've got to do this perfectly. No, you don't. You just got to do it. Imperfect action is better than no action.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or is it perfect inaction?
Right? Yeah, exactly. I
gotta learn.
That's it.
Absolutely. That's
I
think that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, be like Nike. Just do
it. Be like Nike. That's right. What is one lesson that entrepreneurship has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
This is going to be bad, but managing people sucks.
Yep.
That's one thing that I learned years ago. You're dealing with all of their problems, all of their concerns, all of their issues, right? And that's a real pain, and it can really drag you down. But what you've got to learn is why. Always come back to the why. Why are they like this? What are the reasons why? And you can always work it out. It's not always easy. It's always a bumpy road, and it's always painful. But if you can work it out. But one of the other things that I learned really quickly was if you're going to fail quick. Just get it out of the way, right? Rip the Band-Aid off. I remember I employed this guy, and deep down inside, I knew he wasn't the right guy, but I employed him anyway because he was friendly, and I knew it was right. 2 days later, I let him go. I'm like, man, I'm sorry. I made a big mistake. It's all my fault. I paid him out for the month. I made sure he was okay, but I failed early because I knew if I kept that longer, it would have been disastrous for the business I was running back then. So, fail early and just get down to the why. You have to manage people in your job if you like it or not. You have to manage contractors. You have to manage customers. And if someone's having a bad day and they're taking it on you, find out why. And a lot of the times it's not you. Sometimes it is, but let's find out why. So why is a big thing for me, and that's how I live my life. Is why. People get pretty annoyed with me because I ask why a lot.
Right.
But I want to know what's causing this.
Right. And well, that's the basic psychology of sales, isn't it? Just sort of
why. Yeah. Like, why are you saying no to me? You shouldn't say no to me. I'm a nice guy. What are your real problems here?
Right. Right.
Once you get down to that, it helps. Yeah. And it's usually 2 or 3 layers down.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. First, they don't trust you, or right. What's your favorite productivity hack for an entrepreneur?
Every single day before I leave the office, either my home office or my office where I work, is I write down a list of stuff I've got to do tomorrow. Okay. I do a complete brain dump. What have I got to do tomorrow? And I write it down. And that's it, right? No particular order, no particular, this is hard or this is easy. Everything I'm going to do tomorrow, I write down or I put into my CRM. I actually like writing it down because it makes it feel more real if I've written it down. And then I leave work, regardless of where I am, with a clear head. Like, I'm done. I've made that mental line that I finished working today, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to spend time with my family, or I'm going to do something for me. I'm not sure how much of a hack that is, but if just do a brain dump at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course.
It clears your mind. The next day you walk in, you don't have to worry about what you're going to do. You know what you're going to do because you've written it down. So I've been doing that for years, and it just really, because I used to come home and start working straight away. Like, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. And my wife's like, you just spent 9 hours at the office. We haven't seen you. Come and I'll have dinner later. I was going to do this. And then I realized that I'm not doing it wrong. Like, you're not living to work. Right? You want to enjoy your life and what happens. So, and as an entrepreneur, it's even harder because you always want to do something. But you got to draw that line in and write down every single thing you got to do the next day, then forget about it and come back the next day. One, it clears your head, but also subconsciously you're thinking about the stuff you're doing anyway. So when you come in tomorrow, you've got a clear head, and a lot of the times you know how you have to do things.
Yeah. What is it? The day starts the night before.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, big time.
Yeah. What time of day do you get your best work done?
Um, I don't know. That's a hard question. I've been thinking about that. I tend to get up early. I'm usually up at around 6 o'clock. But I'm not one of those idiots that gets up at 6 o'clock and goes for a 20-kilometer run and then goes for a bike ride, then a swim, and then has an egg white omelet for breakfast, right? That doesn't work for me. I tend to get up early at 6 o'clock and I spend time with my kids and we sort of chill out and just have a bit of fun. I make them breakfast and go. But then I notice that, I'll have a shower. I'll get dressed, regardless if I'm leaving the house or not. I'll get dressed in what I'd expect to go out in, and I'll get like a ton of work done in the first 2 or 3 hours, like a ton of it. Sure. And then around lunchtime, I'm like, okay, it's time for me. I'll go and have lunch somewhere. I might go for a walk, depending on where I am, what I'm doing. And then I'll come back to it at about 2, 3 o'clock, but not put as much effort in as I did in the morning. And then for some reason, around 9 o'clock, when everyone goes to bed, I'm wide awake and I want to do some work. So I'll come down and throw in a couple of other hours, but only if everyone's gone to bed and it's been quiet and I've got time. Otherwise, I'll spend time with the family, go out and do something. So really, the mornings, probably from about 8:30 till 11, is really my best time.
Gotcha. You're fresh. You got the creativity.
Exactly.
Gotcha. One of the trends that you see around is, only sleep 4 or 5 or 6 hours because you can use all the rest of the time, and it's how much time can you actually put in that's good quality, that is not hindered from your lack of sleep.
Working 8 hours a day is great, good on you, but you're only going to be productive for a few of those hours,
right?
And sleeping is very important,
right?
So right. I think that's a silly thing. And this whole 5 a.m. club, I hate that stuff. But a lot of people do it and they're very successful at it. Good luck to them. I'm not one.
You're just a 6 a.m. club guy.
6 a.m., but it's not 6 a.m. to go for a run or a walk or a swim. It's just to spend time with my kids and have a bit of fun in the morning.
There you go. Good.
That's how I see it. Yeah.
What underrated tools are indispensable for your job?
A good CRM, right? You have to have a good CRM, and you have to know what's coming up. You have to be able to look at a pipeline and understand what you've got to do, how to move a deal forward. So without a good CRM, you don't have a business, right? And I hate to say it, but Excel is not a CRM. People need to invest in a decent CRM, right? Whatever you can afford, get a CRM where you can capture all your leads, all your contacts, all your activities, and all the information you need to close a deal. Sure. I think that's one of the most important things you can have.
Which one do you use?
I love Pipedrive.
Okay.
Pipedrive is one that I've been using for a long time. I'm actually a Pipedrive consultant. If anyone needs any help, with Pipedrive, you can see a pipeline view of everything you're doing, but also gives you all the activities you need to do for each customer. So you can always stay on track. You always know when something's late or early or what do you have to do. It's easily customizable. And what I like about it, it's built by salespeople for salespeople. A lot of the CRMs out there were built by engineers or built by software guys or whoever who haven't spent that much time in the field. Where Pipedrive is built by people who actually spent time selling, which I think is really, really important.
How does that compare to something like Go High Level?
Very different. So Go High Level is a group of tools, right? So Go High Level, you've got your Facebook integration, you got your Google Marketplace, you got all this really cool stuff. You've got SMS, you got all this, you got a lot of stuff into one, right? And all of the stuff is okay. It's not best of breed, but it's okay and it works, right? But if you're a pure sales organization, Pipedrive is the way to go because it's purely a sales-driven thing. You can still do your automation, you can still do your SMSs. You're not going to be able to do your Google, business reviews via. You're not going to be able to do your Facebook posting, but that's not what it's for. It's purely for salespeople doing sales work. I love Go High Level and I use it a lot. But for a day-to-day sales tool, for me, it's Pipedrive. And if you can afford both, do both because they both have their really good skills. Okay,
good. You're good. One last thing before we jump offline, you're actually in the launch lab right now. You're on week 6 or 7, I believe, correct?
Yes. Yep. week 6, I think. Yep.
Week 6. What do you think about it?
I like it. The reason I like it and the reason I wanted to do it is, like I said earlier on, when we were talking, is that, I've got ADD. I can't focus on things for long.
Sure.
The launch slate tells me what I have to focus on. It gives me a list of things that I have to do. And if I don't do it, I can't move forward to the next level. So it keeps me accountable for what I'm doing. But one of the biggest things I've got out of it is a network. Meeting yourself, meeting Jennifer, meeting Lynette, meeting Scott and Laura, meeting all these amazing people that I can call on to say, hey, I need some help. I want to bounce an idea, or, having that network is incredible. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've got out of it.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I'm glad that you like it. Hopefully it's worthwhile investment for you.
We'll know in a few more weeks, right? If I make my money back.
Yeah.
But I can't say that I'm not going to, right? So I think it's a worthwhile investment for sure.
Good. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the biggest things that we instilled is that, a lot of people get overwhelmed with the amount of information. And so we want to make sure that week by week, in order for you to, make the most out of 12 weeks, you do each week, you only learn, you only learn so much so that you can watch it maybe once, twice, 3 times. You can digest it. You can do the homework. You got to do the homework, right?
You got to do the work, right? Yeah. Nothing's free. Even done for you still have to do some work, right? And I think that's really important. And like I said earlier, by having that structure, by saying you need to do this by this week, you're focused. It makes life a lot easier. That way you're not taking on more than you can chew.
Yeah, absolutely. So, good. I'm glad it's working out for you.
Thank you.
So we won't take up too much of your time. We're at the 42-minute mark. I really want to make this as quick and efficient as possible. I know a lot of other people will like to jabber on for 10 or 15 minutes and make inside jokes and stuff. And I just want to make it so that if you're watching this video, hopefully you got something good out of it. Once again, my name is Zach with Atlas Agency Launch Lab and Atlas Online Solutions, here with Mr. Anthony Sarkis from Peak Integrity. Thanks for watching. If you have any, where can people find you online?
Peakintegrity.com.au. The website will be up next week. We're just doing a whole bunch of refurbishment to it, but feel free to go there. It'll have all my contact details, or Anthony@peakintegrity.com.au. Happy to help anyone out who's considering the launch lab and want to talk to a student, or anyone that wants help with their sales processes or pipelines or whatever. Just reach out. Happy to help. All
right. So just so I got that correct, because we don't have that. So it's peakintegrity.com.au.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And it's Anthony@peakintegrity.com.au.
Anthony@peakintegrity.com.au. Interesting how Australia uses .com and New Zealand uses .co.
Yeah, we want to be different. We want people to take us seriously sometimes.
Oh, okay. I don't have a dog in the fight, so that's...
No, I know.
Well, good. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
For taking your Saturday morning for me. So,
no problems.
All right. Well,
thanks.
I'm going to end the stream here.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.